Hey everybody, it's Gypsy. So I was just out in the garden doing weeding and cleaning up in the outdoor vegetable garden, and I needed a break, so I thought I'd sit back here in the shade. We have been having really beautiful weather in Northeast Ohio. I don't mean to gloat because I know the rest of the country, everybody's complaining that it's really hot and dry. I had windows open last night and the ceiling fan on, and I woke up this morning. I was freezing. The temperature was 60 degrees. The high today is going to be 81. So not bad. So I'm trying to get some things done outside. So anyways, I wanted to talk about milk, believe it or not. And now this information I got, I wish I just read it like last week, and I can't remember where. I think maybe it was an article my friend Richard sent me a link to. If Richard reminds me, if that is true, and where this article is, I will put it in the link below. When I was a little girl, I grew up in the eastern suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio. So, that's the city. To me, it's the city. Suburbs are cities. So we always had milk from the grocery store. And it was homogenized and pasteurized. I drank very little of it. I did not like the way it tasted. Gave me a weird aftertaste. And also, as the older I got, more of an upset stomach I got. Now my dad, I don't know how he tolerated it because he grew up on a farm. My grandparents had cows. There was fresh milk there. So I know, like, if my mom wanted to buy skim milk or 2%, my dad didn't like that. He always wanted the full fat milk, but even that isn't like full fat fresh farm milk. It really has a weird taste to me, and it's very watery. So I don't know how my dad put up with that, but anyways, when I became an adult, I would say this was about 3 years ago. I was living in New Mexico, and I found a way to get farm fresh milk, and it was raw. This means it was not homogenized, and it was not pasteurized. And oh my God, was it good. Yeah, on the farm at my grandparents' house, we would have fresh farm milk. But since I didn't like milk, I didn't really drink it, but there was a difference. I couldn't believe the milk is now you have to shake it because it's not homogenized. Unless you want to skim the cream off the top and use that. So sweet, it has a very sweet taste. It's thick, it's delicious. More importantly, I never got an aftertaste. I still don't. And I didn't get an upset stomach. Now, I could not figure, and I remember the guy I bought my milk from in New Mexico, we were talking about it one day. And I said, milk in the store gives me an upset stomach. This milk doesn't, and I can't figure out why. And he didn't know why either. So I get to Ohio, back to Ohio, come back home where I grew up, and I could not find a place where I could get raw milk. The closest I could find was a farm that did not homogenize their milk, which is so important to me. I want non-homogenized. And what they did, and they pasteurized it, but to the legal minimum. So it was a little better than the store-bought for me. It was okay. Well, this farm went out of business, and now I shop. I very rarely shop at any big chain grocery stores. I shop at small markets, like a couple meat stores we have, and we have 2 Italian stores in the neighborhood. I shop there, of course. And they all, sell things from local farms. So after this farm went out of business, they started carrying milk from another farm, and they have the homogenized and pasteurized. But I saw on the shelf they had a milk labeled pet milk, not for human consumption. So this is when the first time I saw it, I was in the Amish butcher shop that I like to shop at. And I brought it up to the counter and I looked at her. I said, pet milk? She says, yeah. I said, does this mean raw milk? And she grinned. She goes, yes. And I said, okay, so it's just raw milk, nothing different? She goes, yeah. I said, okay, I'm taking it. And she laughed. She says, a lot of people are starting to buy this. We're having trouble keeping it on the shelves. And she says, this is much healthier for you than the stuff they're selling in the grocery store that's pasteurized and homogenized. And this is an Amish woman telling me this, okay? So, anyways, oh man, this milk was so good. I also buy it at the other meat store and the Italian store I go to. I was at the meat store the other day and I picked up a half gallon of my milk, and she says, more and more people are buying this milk. I said, because it's the only way you can legally get raw milk, and everybody wants raw milk. Nobody wants that shit that's messed with. It doesn't even taste right. It doesn't taste like milk. I mean, to you guys it might taste like milk because it's what you're used to, but that's not milk. We took all the good stuff out. So anyways, I found out, and I think this was an article from my friend Richard, what happens, this is what they explained in the article, when you pasteurize the milk, it removes the lactase from the milk. Now, lactase helps your body break down the lactose. So people think they're lactose intolerant because the pasteurized and homogenized milk bothers their stomach. No, everybody needs to have lactase in the milk in order to be able to digest it. Now, I know there are those it doesn't really bother, they don't notice it. I think some people are more sensitive and they do notice that their body is not processing the lactose. So anyways, you know, it's like this Amish woman was explaining to me the health benefits are endless. But then, you know, the lactose, I told her, I said, the stuff in the store doesn't taste good. It leaves a very bad aftertaste in my mouth for a very long time, and then I get a stomach ache. I don't get that with raw fresh milk. So it is healthier for you. And yes, I know, I've heard how people are not supposed to be drinking milk from other mammals and saying, yeah, I've heard it, okay? I happen to like raw milk. And it's a personal choice. If you don't want to drink it, don't drink it. It's okay. I choose to drink it. Not only is, you know, it much healthier, well, it does have calcium, and I have severe osteoporosis because I am a woman of a certain age, as you can tell. So anyways, so in both states I lived in, New Mexico, you could not legally sell raw milk. What you had to do was sell shares to your farm, kind of shares, and then your customers owned a share of the cow that produced the milk, because the only way you could drink raw milk is if you owned the cow. So in this way, if you paid into this farm and the shares, then you could purchase raw milk there. You know how it's the same thing. You cannot sell raw milk to others. You can only drink it yourself, use it yourself, and your family. Therefore, that's why the first farm I was buying milk from did the minimal pasteurization. Now this farm, they just label their raw milk, pet milk, not for human consumption. Now, if you go to the store and you buy pet milk and you choose to drink it, that's your choice. It's not the farmer making you drink it. The farmer labeled it. And I think it's stupid to even have to do that, but it's, it's such a circus here. So, yeah, and I hope I don't get anybody in trouble, because I'm not going to lose I don't want to lose my milk. I don't want anybody getting in trouble either. But yeah, people are starting to find ways, loopholes to work around these things now, because people want to get back to a more natural lifestyle, especially with our eating. And when I say natural, I don't mean primitive, living in the woods with no anything, no amenities. It's a choice. I mean, if you want to, yeah, it's fun. I've done it. It's fun. But if you don't want to do that, fine. But when I say more natural, I mean, first of all, just getting out in nature with the food we eat. Okay, so people are getting desperate. People are angry, and they're finding ways around it. And I'm not going to mention the name of the farm I get my milk from, but I just thank this farmer so much, because, I mean, everybody in my county is buying this milk now. Nobody wants it crap from the store. We go to our small markets, family owned, and we buy it there, because this farmer does distribute to these small markets. And those of us in the know go to these markets, and we get all our raw stuff. It's very good. So anyways, just food for thought. And if you've never tried raw milk, oh my God, you got to. It's almost like drinking ice cream. It's so good. So I am going to leave you with that. Blessed be, and make it a joyful one.